What happens when a devoted atheist, a scientist who rejects all things spiritual, suddenly experiences something beyond the limits of science? Welcome to Pure Mind Think. Today, we dive into the extraordinary near-death experience of Nancy Rhines, a scientist who once dismissed the idea of an afterlife, only to return from the brink of death with a completely transformed perspective. Nancy's experience is one of the most profound NDE, near-death experiences, ever recorded. After a tragic accident, she found herself in a realm unlike anything she had ever imagined. What did she see? How did it change her? And what hidden truths did she uncover about the universe? Stay with us until the end, because her story will make you question everything you thought you knew about life and death. Nancy Rhines wasn't just any atheist. She was a scientist who firmly believed in logic, evidence, and empirical data. Raised in a devout Christian family in the suburbs of Chicago, she once had a strong faith in God. But as she grew older, her faith was shaken. She witnessed scandals involving religious leaders and struggled with the question, if God exists, why does he allow suffering? By the time she was in college, she had abandoned religion entirely. She pursued a career in geology and became a rational thinker, someone who only believed in what could be measured, tested, and proven. To her, spirituality was nothing more than human imagination. She was certain there was no afterlife, no soul, no God. But life had a different plan for her. It was a cold winter morning in Boulder, Colorado. Nancy was cycling to the library when suddenly a speeding SUV came out of nowhere. The impact was devastating. She was thrown under the vehicle, dragged nearly 60 feet across the pavement. Time seemed to freeze as she felt her body breaking under the weight of the car. The next thing she knew, she was floating. She could see paramedics rushing to her, her own body lying lifeless on the ground. But she wasn't in pain. In fact, she felt a strange sense of peace, as if she was being cradled by an invisible force. Nancy was rushed to the trauma center. She had severe injuries, a fractured skull, broken ribs, collapsed lungs. Doctors prepared her for emergency surgery. Then something happened that defied all logic. As the anesthesia took effect, Nancy expected to fall into unconsciousness, but instead, she awoke in a place unlike anything she had ever seen before. She found herself standing on a vast, beautiful meadow, filled with colors more vibrant than any on earth. Mountains stretched endlessly before her, and a warm, golden light embraced everything around her. Then she heard a voice, gentle yet powerful. "Welcome home." Nancy was stunned. Home? The presence surrounding her was pure love, an energy so intense, so overwhelming, that it brought her to tears. At that moment, she realized something terrifying. She was dead. This wasn't a dream. It wasn't anesthesia-induced hallucination. It was real. She was standing in a dimension beyond life, one that science could never explain. As Nancy wandered through this ethereal realm, she saw a woman approaching from the distance. Her features were obscured, but her energy radiated wisdom and kindness. "It's time to learn," the woman said. And just like that, images began appearing before Nancy, like a life review. She saw moments from her childhood, her time as a scientist, and even moments she had completely forgotten. But here's what shocked her the most. She didn't just see these moments, she felt them. She experienced the pain she had caused others with her words. She felt the love from those who had cared for her. Every action, every choice she had made rippled out, affecting the world in ways she had never imagined. She saw that life wasn't just about survival. It was about connection, about kindness, about love. And then she was shown something even more incredible. The woman led Nancy to what looked like a giant map, a blueprint of her entire life. She could see multiple paths branching out, each representing choices she had made. Some paths led to happiness, others to pain, but they all led to the same ultimate destination. She understood then, nothing is random. Every experience, every hardship, every person we meet, it's all part of a greater design. Nancy was overwhelmed. She had spent her life denying the existence of anything beyond the physical world. And yet, here she was, experiencing a reality more real than anything she had ever known. Then the woman placed a hand on Nancy's shoulder and whispered, "It's time to go back." Nancy panicked. She didn't want to leave, but before she could argue, everything went black. With a gasp, Nancy opened her eyes in the hospital recovery room. Doctors and nurses surrounded her, stunned by how quickly she had regained consciousness. Tears streamed down her face, not from pain, but from anger. "Where is she? Where is the woman?" she shouted. The medical staff was confused. To them, Nancy had only been unconscious for 2 minutes. But to Nancy, she had spent months in another world. Her mind raced. Had it all been a dream? A hallucination? No, she knew. What she had seen was real, and it had changed her forever. In the weeks following her recovery, Nancy could no longer see the world the same way. She left her career in geology. She began meditating, connecting with nature, and most importantly, sharing her story. She no longer feared death. She no longer saw life as a meaningless accident. She understood now. We are all here for a reason. And the greatest lesson she learned? Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Nancy Rhines, the scientist who once rejected all things spiritual, had become a messenger of hope. Her near-death experience shattered her old beliefs, but in doing so, it gave her something even greater: a new life filled with purpose, gratitude, and faith. Nancy's story is just one of many near-death experiences that have defied scientific explanation. So, what do you think? Do you believe NDEs are glimpses of the afterlife, or are they just illusions created by the brain? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe to Pure Mind Think for more incredible stories of spiritual transformation. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and always follow the light.